I built an AI employee that replaces 3 individual hires, and these 3 individual hires are social media manager, video editing, and copywriter. Each one of these, obviously, you can see here roughly what their basic, I suppose, salary is. And again, this is all information that was sourced online. So entry level EU average is 2026. And the key thing here is you want, as a small business owner, you need this kind of help and support. And what ends up happening is you maybe not be able to actually hire these individual people, but you know you need them. Again, if you're a small business owner, you definitely need to take advantage of this. Inside my own community, I have offer a free 7-day trial. As part of the free 7-day trial, there's a 7-day challenge. This is going to allow you to build out pretty much your AI employee exactly as I'm talking about over here. So again, if you're interested in joining, link should be below in the comments and also in the description. So, join, let me know what you think. What this 3 individual hires do is they pretty much do 90% of the work. I don't want to have it in such a way that it does everything from start to finish. Some people do. The reason I don't is because I run my own business. What ends up happening is I want to have control over what's happening, what's not happening, and you're going to have the same thing. You want to hire a person in, say, real person doing social media. You're going to still want some information from them. You want to kind of approve certain things, and the exact same as with AI. So you can see here we have a social media manager, 28,000 a year, plans the calendar, designs posts, schedules everything, tracks what's working. We have a video editor which cuts footage, adds captions and graphics, builds thumbnails and exports to every platform. And again, we have a copywriter which writes the post, captions, emails, and pages. And now again, this is probably one of the, I suppose, AI hires that I have that I need to keep refining, because obviously you want to get rid of that AI robotic sounding, I suppose, from your messages. And that is pretty much what you're doing. If you're hiring a person in this position, unless they're obviously really, really skilled in the area and are an expert in copywriting, then it's going to be worth their weight in gold. But if you're a small business owner, you're probably doing it yourself. You can outsource this to AI with your kind of, I suppose, control and input as well, which is just going to streamline the entire process. So as you can see, it's 93 grand a year, and pretty much everything is ready for us to go. If we go into number one, hire number one, which is obviously the social media manager, this is exactly what it's done. And I got AI to generate this based on what I've worked with and my history of running, I suppose, my own system over here. Now you can see in here on the left hand side, these are all my individual departments of, I suppose, my business. I like structure like this because I understand exactly what's needed, what's not needed, and pretty much just streamlines. I think it makes things 100 times easier. My, I suppose, social media manager is responsible for, it generates all my content strategy, my content plan for the 30 days. What it does is it reports on performance of content and posts. It generates all that kind of material for me. So we produce the content using AI. So 6 carousel formats, image posts, text posts, reel briefs, all built end to end from one transcript. This is the core for me. Again, for you, it could be something completely different. But for me, I build it on my videos. So when I create a video, I get it repurposed and broken down into smaller content. We schedule a full week of content. So if I quickly bring this up for you and show you. As you can see here, this is my content at this moment in time. So we're up to Sunday the 19th. I'm recording this video, and I'm already scheduled out to the 23rd. All this is done with the press of a button. Simple and straightforward for me to do it. It's a great way to obviously have it working. What it also does is every 2 days it sweeps the web, YouTube and Reddit for what's moving. So it scores it and pretty much drops it in ready to use ideas inside my own system again. So what ends up happening is I can look at my competition. I can see what they're doing, look for opportunities. At the end of the day, your competitors are going to could be creating content that is getting views, engagement, whatever. You could replicate it. You can see what's working, what's not working. And again, as I mentioned, performance which is a massive thing. Understand what content is driving sales and what's actually driving growth. Now, I did a few of these images throughout the entire, I suppose, video today, and the social media manager is one transcript in, takes literally zero amount of time. It already has the transcripts built in. So down here, all I normally ask it is, what SRT have we got? So this is just going to go through all my recent, I suppose, YouTube videos, and it's going to extract all the transcripts from that. So we'll come back to that in a second. What it's going to do then is we can pick the angle from it. So if I tell it to run the content repurposing on this, it's going to use our social media strategist. It's going to pick the angle. It's going to build the carousels based on whatever design I want. So I have a standard, I have a main, I have a news, I have a comment one that's looking to push, obviously, the saves and the comments. Then what it does, it writes all the captions for all social media platforms. So because Instagram is search based, is gets picked up in search based, I try and get it to kind of like how to create content kind of style captions. We have scheduled to 5 different platforms, which again, and then tracked results. So the tracked results is the one that I need to kind of adjust a little bit. So at the moment, what I do is I just get it to download all my metrics every week or every 2 weeks, I suppose. But what I'm in the process of doing now is getting this set up with Apify, so it can scrape I suppose the metrics for me, so I don't have to manually go and kind of get all the information together. So in total, it's about 30 minutes per piece, which it takes me to run it. And if you can see over here, these are all the SRT files that we have pretty much ready, and all the different angles. So these are all videos that I've made a topic on, or I've done something on. And as I said, these are all ready to pretty much to repurpose. You can see here I have a massive amount and ready to go. If I wanted to really max out, I suppose, Claude, that's exactly what I would do. So one transcript to a scheduled tracked piece of content in about 30 minutes. A human doing the same runs half a day. To be honest with you, it runs even longer, because no human out there is going to generate, I suppose, the type of content like this from just one video that quickly. It's simple and straightforward. And as I said, you're just burning a massive amount of time on content production. If we move on to Hire 2, which is the video editor. So again, you can see it's 35 grand a year, one long recording in, finished, publishable video out. I suppose where this works a little bit different for me is it can cut my long form content into shorts. Now, the drawback for me of the way I have it done is the way I record my videos. I only have a webcam here at the moment set up, so you can see as you're watching this, bottom right is an image of me with the main screen. What I'm wanting to do is try and get a proper camera so I can record myself full on, and then have the webcam set up as well. So now what's going to happen is going to be able to cut all these, I suppose, each video down into shorts much quicker for me, and it's going to keep me obviously in center of the frame, which is exactly what you want. So what this does is cut shorts from long recordings. And again, we go over here to the outputs and we go to schedule folder. I have a section down here where it has short clips, and every one of these clips are pretty much 30-second clips that I've pulled from a YouTube video. Again, there's no messing around with me having to go and do it. I edit the videos sometimes. What ends up happening is it cuts these clips for me, which is perfect, and it just gives me more, I suppose, content to share. And I started sharing these on TikTok, which are actually getting decent engagement and views, which is something I didn't think was actually worth its while in the beginning. Again, what it does, builds the full YouTube pack. So again, title options scored against real search data, description, chapters, tags, everything you see basically in my YouTube video below in the description is generated with the help of AI. My chapters, tags, all taken from pretty much the transcript of the video. And this is the key reason why I always say you need your long form piece of content that's yours, that you worked on. It generates the thumbnails again from what I want. What sometimes happens with the thumbnails, it does come back that there are 4 thumbnails that are crap. However, there will be one more than likely in it that I'm kind of liking, and then I might manually go to like ChatGPT and mess around with it like that to see can I make it better. And like I showed you, it cuts the teaser clips, 2 or 4 short clips picked perfectly for me. So the process again here from start to finish is recording dropped in, which is about 5 minutes. Again, that's literally just me moving a folder. I can even cut this down if I pick the right folder, I suppose, when I export from CapCut. Transcribes it, which roughly takes 5 minutes. Again, this is not me doing anything. It picks the best moments, which again is not me doing anything. It cuts it into shorts, things like that, which is again is 20 minutes. YouTube thumbnail and package is 15 minutes. Uploads it to my YouTube account is 5. This is saying about 1 hour start to finish. This probably takes about 30 minutes in total. Once I drop the video in, I can tell my agent to go and create a YouTube pack. I have a skill here for it. If I go down here, I go /YouTube, and it's not YouTube, it's Higgs, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so the Higgsfield Publishing Pack is what I have it named as. And this pretty much does all that for me, generates everything I need, and gets it all ready to go. I think one of the key things I've added to this was actually uploading it as a draft to my YouTube account, which again stops me having to copy and paste things over. If you're not doing it this way, you know, this is, I think, a game changer for me. Now, this leads me on to this section, I suppose. Now, obviously, it's a completely AI generated image here. So what AI can do, and I've started doing this with more short form content first before I went to the long form, is I will tell AI to edit my video. So what I tend to do now is I record short form content. I would ramble on for maybe 10 minutes with my phone there, talking about different topics. What I do, try to do, is have a list of questions that I can kind of answer on that people have mentioned inside communities, inside of chats, everything like that. And I try and talk about them. So what happens is I can throw this full video into AI. AI can then cut it all down into bits. Now what ends up happening is it cuts the crap waste bits out of it. It does put it together in a way that makes sense. However, I still need to go in and do some, I suppose, final edits to it. But once you kind of get to, I suppose, this point of view, there's not a massive amount of actually messing around with it. There's no going through, like as I said, a 10-15 minute video to try and pull out the best bits for me. And it doesn't really cost me much other than using Claude and using CapCut. Again, I think a key thing to remember here is, like, this image, I suppose, is the perfect example of what way I want to do my videos going forward, is having me full on. And at least then what happens is you can see straight away, you can easily cut this into a short, add overlay images, add overlay graphics, motions, and I think it gives you much more control over actually creating, I suppose, that social media reels, TikTok reels kind of style of content. So it definitely is, adjustments can be made to this area of it, but already, as I said, it's saved me so much time in, I suppose, the whole content production side of things. We go into hire number 3, which is the copywriter. So again, every caption, every platform. This allows me to adjust everything per platform. So I don't have to post on one platform and then just automatically get sent to every other platform. What happens is my reels might go on, just say one reel go on TikTok, but on that same time on Instagram could be a carousel. That's the way my scheduling agent works in terms of social media. What also happens is each caption is completely different. So what I found has happened, and people have actually said it to me, is they've read this caption but ended up realizing it was the same video, and they didn't realize until they kind of watched a bit of the video and read the caption. So it keeps them a little bit more engaged, gives it a different perspective, and I think that's the key thing. Like as I said, Instagram is one of the good ones for that. That helps you obviously turn up in search, whereas LinkedIn obviously is not going to work in search as good, and it just gives you a bit more, I suppose, customizability for each platform. Posts and stories, LinkedIn posts, personal stories, image posts, one-liners, all this again is done with the copywriter. Lead magnets and pages, again, which is done with the copywriter. So if I quickly, I should have had this one ready, bring you up to this here. So hopefully you can see that there now. So as you can see here, this is pretty much what my copywriter does, along with, I suppose, the website agent as well, is it creates this. This is a lead magnet that I have. This is a full-blown how to set up Canva and Claude. Again, it's a great way to kind of build up leads, build up, I suppose, comment words to get this free guide. This is its own URL as well, I think, which is brilliant for me, and a brilliant way to, I suppose, to give different styles lead magnets, and you get away from just that generic PDF style. And again, one source, a week of content. So one transcript goes in, we get carousels, posts, captions. You can see how all these start to work with one another and support one another. And again, if we go right down here to process, I suppose, with real times, transcript in again, as you can see from what I did over here, it's pretty much, I have the transcript from each, I suppose, process of, let's say, the YouTube hack. It reads my brand voice rules. It gets a clear understanding of my call to action. So for this month, my call to actions are 7-day free trial inside the community. So every single piece of content I create and post, once it has a call to action, it'll have about this. So as I said, for 7 days, you have a 7-day free trial. As part of this, you get access to all these tools anyway. But again, you can have your chance to build your own AI employee. So definitely, take advantage of that yourself. Again, picks the angle. So it writes each platform natively. So again, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X completely standalone. Quality check with one call to action if needed. And again, it goes to my schedule and folder, so that it's pretty much ready to schedule then for me. Again, streamlines the entire process. And it is a very, I suppose, once you get it set up, a simple way. Now, if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, look, what you have over here on this, just to me, is just, I can't do it. You're not able to do it. I can guarantee you, once within the 7 days inside of here, you're going to know exactly how to do it, and you're going to be in the exact same position as I am. You don't need to have an understanding of coding or a thousand of other AI tools, I suppose. if it's a case you're struggling even inside the community, reach out to me. As I said, this is where I'm doing most of my work. So the setup pretty much that makes it work is not magic. It's just a simple system, simple and straightforward. 4 pieces: the foundation, which is key, brand voice, content pillars, offers, what you do, everything like that. This is important. We have skills then, which is obviously your recipe for each type of content. So I have a carousel skill for doing my main and standard carousels. We have a scheduling skill, caption skills. So there's no more, oh, I need you to write a caption for me for Instagram, but it needs to be completely different than LinkedIn. You can literally just tell it to write caption. It knows already that it needs to be different. So there's no more over explaining each time. We have one manager, which I talk to in chat. So what I'll show you in a minute what I'm working on here, but my one manager is pretty much Alex, and that's it. He's over my entire system. He interacts with every other, I suppose, department in here. And again, what platform gets recorded, proven patterns get written back into recipes. It gets better each month. And this is a massive area that I'm starting to pay closer attention to, I suppose, how it actually works, because I think this is vital. We then go into a final, I suppose, section is the bonus section, where this goes next. And I think for a lot of people, this is an interesting point of view. And what ends up happening is they don't see the potential. And a lot of business owners in general, small business owners in general, don't understand of actual power of AI. They tie you too closely to your, I suppose, your social media, your content, and they don't look at it from the point of view of what it can do behind the scenes, but also what it can do in terms of, I suppose, the social media, the marketing side of things. So already live at the moment, and I'm waiting to kind of integrate this more into what I do, is research that runs itself. So every 2 days, I have a research agent basically that scans the web and YouTube and Reddit. It scores ideas, it drops 3 to 4 ideas in a folder, and I approve one. The carousel can get built. I can then get a script outlined for obviously reels, and pretty much you can turn that approved ID into lead magnet if you wanted to. Even if you don't, you could turn all 4 of these IDs into lead magnets, and each one could eventually become its own, I suppose, unique standalone lead magnet. So this one already fires for me at the moment on my own clock, so no prompt, no reminder. Again, everything is sitting there in a folder ready for me to kind of go into, and it actually sits on Notion, which makes it easier for me to understand. The next step is the content queues itself. So this is, I suppose, one that I'm a little bit more not reluctant to schedule or set up, but I'm kind of not 100% sure what way to go about this. So content, pretty much every Monday 7 a.m. it drafts the full week, waits for my approval, one click approved, scheduled to 5 platforms. Now this is kind of already happening to an extent. So everything I get created here goes in the left hand side. So you can see I have reels, 3 or 4 reels ready here. I don't know if we have carousels now. Yeah, so we have a few carousels here ready to go, and I can get this set up that again, once every, let's say, Monday, I can have a timer click in there, schedule click in at, let's say, 10 o'clock. And from there, it can go along and just start scheduling the content. Now, I like to still go through it. I like to have control, because it's a simple reason is something can change. Let's say today that I might want to shift everything one more slot to the right, and I don't want to have a massive amount of content scheduled out, because, as I said, the entire space can change really quickly. Tomorrow there could be something that I want to jump on because it's a major trend. So again, definitely something that I am looking to build, but I'm not 100% sure what way to kind of integrate 100% yet. And this one is in progress. You talk to like a team member. So what I've actually built now and is an actual voice chat agent. So I won't be able to show it in this video. I'll show it in another video once I'm kind of happy with it. But the idea here is I hold a button, which I think was control button on my keyboard, and I can talk to Alex straight away and just say, look, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. So what this does is it cuts out having to come in here and either having to use the device here or have to type it in. So my plan here going forward is I can get this set up to connect with my phone, so I can get this entire system set up like on the cloud. So what can end up happening then is if I'm away from my computer, whatever, I'm with clients, whatever the case is, I can literally put in a voice into it and say, look, Alex, can you schedule out some content on whatever it is? Can you do some research on this? Or if you're working with a client and they're working in, let's say, the fitness industry, you can ask it to do some quick research on the fitness industry and give me some ideas for X, Y, and Z. Then what happens is it's going to run off, do its task, send everything to me that's needed. I think this ability is massive. And again, if I'm just working here, like I said, I'm doing lives, I can have the agent set up, and it's kind of like, right, someone has might be answered a question or said asked a question or something like that, and it's kind of okay, that's a really interesting topic. I can then just, instead of having to type anywhere, hit control, Alex, save that note about whatever it is and put it into my to-do list or whatever the case is. Again, it gives you complete control, and now you start getting the system working, I think, much better for you. So make me a carousel on X, again, which is just hold the button, it picks the right skill, work gets done, it talks back, done, ready for your review. Again, this is the way AI needs to be working. This is how you work for it in your, I suppose, your day-to-day business. Hold the button, say what you need, work gets done, no keyboard and no app switching, I think, which is vital. And that's it. So again, if I want a lead magnet, it's kind of right. I've watched a video, let's say I've watched someone's video about using AI in different ways for a business. I might pull out one idea from that and get it to create a lead magnet on that topic, how you can use AI for small business. Say, let's say what happens is going to create it all for me. This is going to be generated, and I can go through and say, right, I'm happy with this, or I want to maybe change this section into something different. It'll go and do it, and then it's done and dusted. Simple and straightforward. And as I said, these are the key ways to do it. Already live at the moment is AI that improves itself. So again, it improves itself here. So monthly review, what worked, what flopped. So we understand what's working, what's not. We propose these changes into its own, I suppose, skills, and then we approve or reject these changes. And again, that's just the loop here. We're learning constantly. What I do find is if you ask AI to, remember this for the next time, what happens is it puts it into its memory and it forgets it. It's pretty much very human like there in terms of memory. You're better off to try and have it wrote down somewhere that it understands these are what we're trying to improve. And once you make those improvements, it gets added straight into, I suppose, the skills, the systems, the processes, because then there's not relying on memory. And again, this is no different than what you would have for an actual, I suppose, human person doing a job for you. You don't ask them to remember hundreds of different things. You build a part of the system. That is it. That is how you do it. If you're interested to build your own AI employee, comment hub below. I'll send you a link if you can't see the link on whatever platform you're watching it. As I said, 7-day free trial. Get in, take advantage of it, because if you're a small business owner and you're not using AI, you're going to be left behind. And again, AI is not there just to create content or to create, I suppose, your event posters. You can do so much more with it. And I think this is one of the key reasons why I started the community. So look, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.